Picture this. You're sitting with your friends, other moms who have gone through a divorce or are contemplating, who maybe didn't picture their lives co-parenting, but are there with you. You're sharing your stories, you're inspiring each other, validating and challenging each other through your shared experiences. You're belly laughing, tearing up, and enjoying your favorite cup of coffee all at the same time. You don't judge each other. You empower each other to continue on your journey to heal and to just be you, whatever that looks like. Welcome to Co-Parenting and Coffee. Welcome.
Welcome.
Everyone.
Episode 5. Are we going to say every episode?
I don't know.
I'm going to forget at some point what episode we're on.
We will eventually lose count, but
so far we're good. Under 10, I think we can handle.
under 10. We're both feeling the holiday pinch here.
Oh
And I think this
God.
episode might come out. Oh, I think it's supposed to be out before the holidays. We'll see. We'll see if we pull it off.
I
But
think we can do it. Yes, we are in the holiday pinch.
we're really excited about today's show. But before we get to that, I think we're going to talk a little bit about, well, I guess we're going to talk about holiday pinch and the grow work. Right?
Yeah,
Jill, what was our assignment?
So our grow work this week was to do something for ourselves, to spend some time really thinking about it and finding something and carving out a little piece of time, whatever that looks like, and doing something for ourselves. So I felt like when we discussed this grow work that I was kind of like a low key grow work. And I actually had the hardest time with this.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't do my grow work.
You didn't do it.
And what I did think about a lot, because I was feeling really terrible about not doing it, of course, is that the whole point of the grow work is not to add stress to your life.
Yeah.
Not supposed to be like something that, is another thing to do on your to-do list or whatever. And so I tried to, and I did it 50%, give myself some grace about it, which
We can make ourselves feel so guilty for no reason. So I'm glad that you did that. It's something that you can think to do another time.
I think I need to though, because I think it's a little pathetic and I don't think that I'm alone in this. I had a hard time thinking of something to do for myself.
Well, because we're always doing for everyone else.
So what did you do? Hopefully you did.
I talked a big game about journaling, which I enjoy doing, but also sometimes have some resistance to. So I didn't journal, but I did take some time. This past weekend, I was visiting family. My family lives out of state. And so I went to visit them. My kids were with their dad, so it was just me. And I got some one-on-one time with my sister, which was really, really great. And then so also some one-on-one time with my mom. I got to see some family, which was really nice. So, there are different ways to fill your bucket. And,
oh yeah.
Sometimes it shows up in another way. And for me, that was what I did.
I think that's great. I mean, I think being flexible about that is so important too. Like you can fill your bucket in a million different ways. And I guess that's something that we can pull insights from this week is that, your plans don't always work, right? You get sick, kids get sick, whatever. You can, either give yourself some grace or find other ways to that you maybe weren't expecting to get that need met.
Yeah, I mean, I could think of a million ways that, especially being a parent, that, life can interfere with the best laid plans. So sometimes you get what you need and not what you want in some cases. In this case, that wasn't the case for me. It was me making choices. But I'm happy with my choices. And you, maybe after the holidays, will have a minute, Jill, to do.
I'm done being sick. I've been saying that for 2 weeks, but I try to just will myself to not be sick.
I know you're very much mind over matter, which I'm not sure is working in this instance.
Hasn't worked. But I'll keep trying. Anyways, every day I'm like, that's it. I'm done. All right, we have our coffee date today with Tracy Schorn. She is a journalist who runs the popular advice site chumplady.com and author of Leave a Cheater Gain a Life, the Chump Lady Survival Guide. And we just love you, Tracy. We're so excited
Aw.
to have you.
Oh,
Welcome.
thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've been in the co-parenting trenches. You're doing important work.
Yeah,
Thank
I think
you.
so. And we're really excited to have you today because we think when you're going through your co-parenting journey, especially at the beginning, and especially dealing with infidelity or cheating, that
Mhm.
brings a whole different level to your co-parenting experience.
Yeah.
And we wanted to have you on because we think you really give a strong, snarky, but awesome
She
opinion. I
loves
mean,
snark.
I am potty mouthed. Is that the word you were looking for?
but a no bullshit, like
Yes.
way
Yeah,
to
it's
think about
hard. It's hard work, right? And yeah, you want to say all the naughty words, but
it.
it it is, yeah, when you're dealing with cheaters or fuckwits, it does. So you have betrayal on top of the really hard work of being a single parent.
Right.
And you don't have the stuff of goodwill and friends with exes and all the crap that is expected of people now. It's
Mhm.
not enough to just parent. You have to be aspirational and friends and have matching pajamas and invite each other to Thanksgiving and all the messages out there, right? And you're dealing with grief and trauma and traumatized kids and new arrangements, and yeah, infidelity layered on top of that is a hell of a shit sandwich. Yeah, it's hard.
And do you think over time that it gets easier or just different?
Everybody's situation's different. I think
Right.
Mhm.
raising small children is harder than raising older children.
Yeah.
I i have to say for myself, I don't have the experience of co-parenting with a fuckwit who was a cheater.
Uh-huh.
Just my
Just a
personal
regular
background. I
fuck.
got married young and stupid, and I was married for 10 years, and I got divorced in my early 30s from my husband, that my first husband, because of untreated mental illness. And
Mhm.
he was a fuckwit who sued me pro se for the next 10 years while owing me thousands of dollars in back support, and was not somebody that was really a great person to parent, and was not responsible. It was very difficult. It was now there's a term for this. It's called litigation abuse. I didn't
Mhm.
learn that that was a thing until I was interviewing someone for the DC Bar Association for family law, and
Yeah.
she said litigation abuse, and I was like, oh my God, I lived that for 10 years. I didn't even know it was a thing. I just thought
Right.
it was just something I endured. So I
Right.
was a single mom. I went through all that chaos, and had to be the show up parent and the strong person. And I look back, I'm like, I'm not even quite sure how I got through it. My son turned out great. But I was briefly remarried to a man who was a cheater. And thank God I
Right.
didn't breed with him, because breeding with the first fuckwit was punishment enough. But but I know, I know that people, the second one made me chump lady, because all
Yeah.
the advice out
Mhm.
there was reconcile and do everything. You don't want to be a two-time loser in my case. I mean,
Right.
God forbid you're a single parent, all the messages. And so I started Chump Lady, and then I get a gazillion stories from people who have to co-parent with affair partners, whose
Right.
exes introduce the kids to multiple new boyfriends and girlfriends, and or children make horrible discoveries of the
Oh my
parents'
gosh.
double life. I mean, there's all sorts of awful things. For 13 years I've been happily remarried to my husband, Paul, and he bred with the fuckwit. He had the whole, my kids go off and live with the affair partner,
Mhm.
paying child support to that arrangement.
Yeah.
So I understand the shit sandwich. I
Yeah.
absolutely understand it. But to your point of how is it difficult when there's infidelity? Yeah, there's just so many different constellations of how it can all go wrong, right?
Right.
I tell people, be the sane parent. That's your job.
Yeah.
Your job is not the glamorous job. It's to show up,
Mm-hmm.
make sure the book reports are written, do the unglamorous work,
Yeah.
pay the orthodontist bill,
Yeah.
all the scut work, all the grunt work. It matters. It absolutely matters. And if I said anything to single parents, it's that, hang in there. You're doing important work. It
Mhm.
is a
Yeah.
long arc to be a
Yeah.
sane parent. It's hard work. Even if you have the perfect Hallmark movie intact family, there's
Mhm.
no guarantees of how your kids turn out. All the doomsday shit I was so worried about when my kid was 4 and I was going through divorce. He's 26 now. He turned out to be a fine young man.
Nice.
He has a job. He hasn't been indicted.
Right.
He just got engaged.
Good.
You know, he's not a criminal. He's like, okay, he's an okay. It all turned out okay.
Yeah.
You know,
It's helpful to hear, right? That it's possible, because if you're staring down, should I leave? Should I stay for the kids? You know, that whole argument, which I think you do a really impeccable job of arguing against in your book. It's helpful to see that the kids can turn out okay, you know, and I think Jill and I would agree. My kids were a little older than Jill's daughter when my ex and I split up, and you know, it's taken time, right? And effort and therapy, but the kids can be okay, even if, you know, you feel like, you know, how can I do this to my kids? And it's really like, but are you the one really doing this
you
to your
didn't
kids?
do it. I mean,
Right.
you didn't do it. You're the sane parent. I mean, in terms of stay for the children,
That's
don't
the part
all
of your book that I
dysfunction.
specifically have open right now, because I think people will need to hear this, is the part where you say, I'm afraid my divorce will hurt my children. I mean, in any situation, but especially with a cheater, you're feeling like, oh my God, this is going to hurt my kids.
Yeah.
And you're sort of thinking, I'll give up myself so because I don't want to hurt my kids. But in your book, you say, what are you giving them?
Yeah, you're modeling dysfunction,
Right.
and you're not helping children by modeling dysfunction. But the thing is, don't wear the shame. You're not the person who drove your relationship and your intact family into a ditch. It's the
Right.
cheater.
Right.
And they're playing an insidious game with you. They're playing a game of chicken. They're
Yeah.
going, well, she has all these sunk costs. I'm going to say she, you know, it can be men too, but
Right.
we're talking about moms here. She has all these sunk costs. She would never do anything to hurt the children.
Right.
Therefore, I can go around, fuck around, and do whatever because she's captive to this arrangement.
Right.
It's a hostage situation.
It's
And
sure
I'm just saying, don't negotiate with the terrorists. Just
Mhm.
don't do it. And then a lot of times when you leave these people, they're like, how can you be the quitter?
Right.
How can you put our children through this terrible divorce? You
Yeah.
know, you're so selfish, you're so
Right.
terrible. And, you know, says the person who's cheating on you.
Right.
Just because they're blame shifting doesn't mean you have to accept that, doesn't mean you have to internalize that.
But what about with your kids? Because you may not want to, I mean, depending on their ages, you may not want to share with them that they're, you know, the other parent had an affair or is having many affairs or whatever.
I'm, you know, talk to your lawyer, right? Everybody has a
Yeah.
different opinion on this, but my
Yeah.
personal feeling is that you should not gaslight children, even with the best of intentions.
Ah,
I say, don't editorialize.
yeah.
Don't say dad's a slut or, you know, dad's these
Right.
sex workers or whatever you want to say. They don't need the gory details.
Yeah.
But you can say, yeah, we got divorced because dad has a girlfriend. I mean, I had to explain it to my son when he was about 9 years old. And I said, when you get married, you promise to be each other's special person.
Mhm.
And you know how it feels when someone lies to you or hurts you.
Mhm.
Well, you know, there was another person and that's not acceptable. So they broke the rules of the relationship, and this is the painful consequence of that. And I think kids understand consequences, and they understand if this happens, then that happens.
Mhm.
And I think that is a saner way to explain it to kids than to say something nebulous like we fell out of love, or
Right.
because then they're gonna think, well, is mom or dad gonna fall out of love with me? Like,
Right.
why do families end? Why do they break up for something so fuzzy and impermeable? Versus if you explain, no, there are rules, and then the rules were broken, and this is hurtful, and then you teach them, like, you know, you can say no, you can have a boundary, you can end things. There are natural consequences to bad behavior. Terrible, painful things happen when you break these bonds. Even though you have to explain it in an age appropriate way, it's the
Right.
truth. And I think it's better to lead with the truth. And that people are like, are you going to alienate them? You're going to badmouth them.
Mhm.
You have to be careful because parental alienation is a really frightening thing, you know, and talk to your attorney.
Yeah.
But I don't see how the truth is alienating a parent if you're not editorializing.
Not even saying it, I mean, not that you wouldn't say it as a negative thing, but that you're just saying the truth. Like,
Yeah.
you're not saying like mom or dad did a really bad thing and did this and are horrible and broke
all
up
their
our
fault
family.
or
You're just
anything, yeah.
saying
Right.
exactly what very age appropriately happened.
The other thing is cheaters often, unfortunately, this is a very common story. Children find out.
Yeah.
Children have heard things. People have told the children. They've been introduced to affair partners. They've opened the laptop. They've seen things they shouldn't see.
Right.
Don't gaslight your kids. You know, like they may be carrying the burden of a secret.
Right.
They may already have met the affair partner. And you're liberating them by dealing honestly and in the truth, and they don't have to hurt you because they think you don't know this. Unfortunately, that's something a lot of children experience. They have to carry the secrets for the fuckwit parent. And I'm telling you, don't do that. Don't let your kids carry that grief and that pain.
I'm curious, in your experience, Tracy, I'm sure there are instances, and this is like my naive Nelly coming out, but like there are instances where the parent, it is contrite about the fact that they messed up, and in the marriage it will still be over, and sort of owns up to messing up. But
yeah,
it sounds like maybe that's the exception and not the rule. How
if they're
would you react to that?
contrite, that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, I'm not so cynical as to not want to accept an apology.
Sure.
The thing is, sorry is a sorry does. I really don't want to hear about how someone's sorry for cheating on me if I'm parenting with them. You can show me you're sorry by paying child support on time. You can give me a fair and equitable divorce. That's sorry.
Right.
Give me custodial time. That's sorry.
Yeah.
You can treat me with respect. That's sorry.
So kind of backing up a little bit, what inspired you to start the Chump Lady?
Well, because when I went through it, there wasn't anything like a Chump Lady. All the resources out there, and this was back in 2006. Okay, when I had my D-Day from my second marriage, it was all, what did you do to make him cheat on you, and how are you going to improve yourself to win him back?
Right.
Everything was predicated on reconciliation. There was absolutely no place saying, you're fine on the other side. You can, have a sane, good life without a cheater.
Right.
Everything was predicated on avoiding divorce.
Right.
And trust me, I didn't want a divorce. I didn't want a divorce really in either of my marriages. I now argue to people who are on the fence. I'm like, look, you can get divorced because you value marriage, because you will not be treated with disrespect, because you don't want to live in a sham. You don't want to live a lie with someone who's living a double life. You can divorce because you value marriage, because you are a family-minded person.
Right.
You don't have to wear that shame. So anyway, I tried to change a victim blaming narrative.
I love it.
I was out of it. I was happily remarried to my husband, and he said, you should really write a book. And I for whatever reason thought that seemed like a big lift. So I wrote a blog, which is like writing 1,000 books every day.
Yeah.
And then so it caught fire, and I wrote a book, and I've been working on changing the narrative ever since, because a lot of people were hungry for a different message. A lot of people didn't appreciate the victim blaming either, and how hard it was.
Part of the reason there's like 1 million flags in our book, I'm a nerd and I kind of marked up the whole thing. A lot of what you said though is very applicable to any kind of situation where you've decided to end a marriage. I did not experience infidelity, and so much of what you said in your book resonated for my situation too, and others that friends that I know who've had to walk away from a toxic relationship. So I appreciate where you're coming from, and that you needed to change that narrative.
Yeah, it makes me mad. I mean, people, can sometimes be like, oh, get over it. Oh my God, this happened to you so long ago. I don't write about myself. I'm not interested in my story. I really don't care about my ex. It's not a personal diary. But what does continue to make me mad is that victim blaming narrative is still out there. It's still very much a part of the firmament. It's very much part of the therapy narrative. I just took apart a story in the Washington Post yesterday.
I read it. Yeah, I read your. Yeah.
It was a therapist who wrote it about whether or not you should disclose to your partner that you're having an affair. Everything is predicated on reconciliation still.
Right.
well, will this help your chances of reconciliation or will it hurt them?
Right.
I don't know. Did they get a bad pap smear? Like, are they
Right.
gonna have cervical cancer as a result of you fucking around? Did you spend money on sex workers? Like, you know, these therapists, they never talk about the real shit that happens when you're cheated on.
Yeah.
Did your kid open the laptop and find dad's naughty pictures with them? I mean, this is the real stuff that people deal with. And
Mhm.
we're often the fairyland about, reconciliation. It still pisses me off, and that's why I still keep doing it.
Well, and it's I mean important work, because I think when you have experienced that, and we, run a support group through Jane Does Well, and we have a Facebook group and all that stuff, and you're really validating women or people's feelings about, like, it's not okay. It's not okay that you did that to me, and it's not my fault. Like,
Yeah.
and that's so important to hear, because I think especially can feel like, oh, we didn't have enough sex, or, we were so busy with the kids and I didn't pay
You know
enough
what?
attention.
And maybe you were,
Right.
and maybe you suck. Maybe you
Right.
believe in one world order conspiracies and have bad breath. I mean,
Right.
maybe someone should divorce
Coffee
you
breathing.
for a bunch. I write about this. There are ethical ways to leave someone. There are ethical ways to divorce,
Mhm.
and they don't involve a double life. They don't involve deceit and
Mhm.
lying and risking your health by
Mhm.
having sex with other people. Of
Right.
all the decision trees, of all the things you could do, cheating is not an answer to your relationship problems. So
Mhm.
that's why it's not a couples problem. It's not a couples therapy problem.
Mhm.
It's you don't have to wear the shame of their terrible behavior. We don't drive people to abuse us. We don't do that.
And I actually remember specifically when I saw you speak at the Jane Does Well thing, that you had said that cheating is abuse.
Yeah, it's abuse. Of course it's abuse.
And I had never thought of it like that. And it was so, like, inspiring, because it is. It
Yeah.
absolutely is. It is like a total facade life that you're, like, leading this person on. And
Yeah, it's abuse. I mean, it's psychological abuse. You can't
right,
cheat on someone without lying to them and gaslighting them and telling
right.
them that their suspicions are they're crazy and it's all in their head.
Mhm.
That's coercive control. That's abuse.
Mhm.
Um, there's the physical element of it. You're risking someone's health. That is a real thing, right? They did not consent to have their health risked. They did not consent to the STD. It's, if you're going to screw around, you're taking those risks. It's quite another for someone to, when you're in a relationship or presume monogamy, for someone else to take that risk for you and make a unilateral decision about your health and welfare. They're
Mhm.
making unilateral risks of your intact home life.
Mhm.
They're stealing your reality.
Right.
There are decisions that you might not have made. You might not have shown up for them. You might not have made financial decisions if you'd known what they were doing.
Right.
It's abuse on many levels. And I really don't understand how the helping professions don't see it. Some of them are, they're coming around, but there's still a lot of work to be done to change the narrative. And in the family court system too, one thing, we're getting back to kids. I think you have to be, I'm not a lawyer, so it's not legal advice, but you have to be really careful when you're talking about this in the realm of family court. People don't want to hear about your broken heart. They don't want to hear about the affair partner. They don't want to hear about, Schmoopy took your daughter bra shopping. They don't want, they see abuse. They see it has to rise to such a level for the courts to care.
Oh, for sure.
You do not want to poison the perception of how you come across as being bitter. There's all these, the scorned woman, there's all this shit out there where people are going to devalue you. When you are dealing that world, you have to be totally on point about what is in the best interest of your children.
Mhm.
And you have to document everything. In that sense, when you're dealing with infidelity, you can say it's not, in my child's best interest to do whatever crazy thing Schmoopy wants to do, or be introduced to new affair partners or whatever. You have to turn it back to what for the kids. And you have to, even though it's not fair, you can't bring that injustice into that world. They don't care.
They
They
don't
do
care.
care
I
about
know.
diverted money,
Right.
you know. They
Right.
care about how it impacts your kids' schedule, their welfare, their health.
Yeah.
They always look at it through that lens, you know, and
Of
have
course,
places
for
like
sure.
Jane does well, and your support group or my support group, to vent and get it out and, you know, be there with other people who are eating the same shit sandwich,
Yeah.
because we get it.
I think a story that I see a lot is when someone has cheated on you and then you're going through an awful divorce and they're fighting you. It's like, you've already hurt me. So that's the part that I'm like, how can you be so cruel? Like, this person like hurt you, and then they're also going to take half your house and your retirement,
or try for more.
and for custody. And it's like, they don't.
It's a distorted view, right? Because I don't think that in a lot of cases, they don't necessarily see it that way, right? They're seeing you as the one walking away. You're
Right.
the wrong one, and so, you know, they come for you. It's unreal.
To be a disordered person, whether you're a cheater or you're a toxic partner in some other way, you're abusive, abuse comes from a place of entitlement. There's a bunch of assumptions about, you know, deference and respect, and it's good to be king, and all the goodies are mine, and you are there to serve me, or whatever the message that they've grown up believing that they deserve, and you're not conforming to that, then you will be punished. You know, you are now their enemy. And I think the other thing that's hard to deal with it is because you're a person who bonded, you have this deep connection. It's hard to unbond. It's hard to not think of this person as your friend. And they see you as an adversary. They see you as the obstacle to their happiness.
Right.
That's why you have to put so much distance, and you have to, you know, if you're in the midst of one of these high conflicts, use parenting software.
Yep.
You know, there's the Bill Eddy thing, BIF. Do you know about this? All communications should be brief, informative, friendly, and firm. Don't match drama with drama.
Right.
You know,
It's hard not to do, though. I think when you're
it's so hard
in
not to do.
pain or like really pissed, which I think is part of the grief, right?
Totally. You
Or
have
you're
every right to be
provoked
pissed.
Right.
intentionally, right?
Yeah.
You have every
There's
right to be
that.
pissed. I'm not saying don't be pissed.
Yeah.
I'm saying share that with people who get it,
Right.
with
Yeah.
your own safe space. And you have to be, my old ex-divorce lawyer called it the pretty pony. He's like, Tracy, court is just a horse and pony show, and your job is to be the
Yes.
prettiest pony. So
Right.
be the pretty pony.
Right.
Like, you have a different face that you're putting forth to your ex. Never let them see you sweat it. You know,
Yes.
don't rise to their provocations. Always imagine that this is going in front of a judge, because it might be. And also it'll drive them crazy, right? Because they live for the triangulation, and you're upset, and they want to drink your tears. Like, don't let them.
So I'm curious now, what do you tell people who've gotten past the separation and the divorce, and now, you know, the thing is, you know, depending on how old the kids are, you could be, you know, a couple of years to many years, decades even, co-parenting with this person. So how does that work?
Well, hopefully, like, it's not as raw, right? I mean, you can figure out how to, I don't want to say coexist with them, but like, they're just irrelevant, because your new life fills in, and your old life, it eclipses your old life, and pretty soon it's just your life, right? You just have a life, and this person's not part of it. And your relationship with your kids is not informed by the fuckwit. It's just your relationship with your kid. And if you're the show up parent and you get most of the time anyway, this person is just uncle, dad, or aunt, mom, or whatever. They're just not, they're not that relevant. Now, with high occasions, graduations, weddings, things like that, yeah, they'll be the turd in the punch bowl, and you have to navigate that. It's absolutely the turd. I am going through this right now. I'm happy to share my struggles.
Yes. We love turds in a punch
We
bowl.
love a good case study.
Yeah, well, yeah, my son's father's definitely the turd in the punch bowl. Here's a turd example. So he hadn't seen my son in 3 years, right?
Wow.
Doesn't call, doesn't, you know, Christmas, birthdays, you know, contributes $0, still owes child support. Yeah. But he showed up at college move-in day. I had to take 2 days off of work, and, you know, pack the car and do all the mom things, and, you know, driving up to go to school. And we're at a restaurant and he gets a text from his dad saying that he's coming for the whole parent convocation and, you know, all the fun parent stuff. And I was just livid. It was a turn the punch bowl moment. It was like, I'm showing up, you know, take the victory lap. Yay, me, you know. And I'm sure it was, you know, part was to just fuck me over and blow my mind, or he's just that clueless, or I don't know, you know, I don't know the ways of fuckwits. But I just turned to my son and I'm like, you know, well, this is awkward, but you and your dad will figure it out. You can have the lunch, and I will miss the tent and the convocation, and I will unpack your stuff, and then I will go drive home and sob. But you know, yeah, that's a turn the punch bowl. I just removed myself from the equation. I'm not gonna to do it. It's not fair. That's my moment. I put this guy, got him through the college process. He's into school. I packed the underwear. I deserve the parent convocation, but I'm not doing it. I'm not going to sit there with the turd in the punch bowl. So how do you do it? It's one time. I'm over it. It's a story now. Yeah. It's just unfortunate. Like other people just get to enjoy their children and they don't have this shit, but that's the punishment. You bred with a fuckwit and pays dividends. It's a very common problem. I mean, whenever you feel like, oh, this is terrible, like lots of people have bred with fuckwits. Lots of people understand this.
A lot. Yeah.
A lot. Right. It's a big world out there.
Yes. And I think everyone sort of needs to navigate and deal with that the way that they're the most comfortable. Like, so my ex-husband and I got divorced when my daughter was 7 months old, and it was horrifically painful for me. Horrifically. Not fun, right? But we're now able to, like, when I have her birthday parties, he comes with his wife and kids, and we're fine. It took a lot of work, and I recognize very much that it's not possible for everyone. Like, so I'm not like, oh, we live this amazing life. We have matching pajamas, which we don't have matching pajamas, right? We have some boundaries here, but we're able to do that, and I'm grateful for that, but I recognize that that's not true for everyone.
Yeah, and how many years did that take? It sounds like it took
years,
right? Years,
incredible
years to not
therapy and pain, and
it took a lot. And I would say, you know, if this person is still, if he were actively antagonizing you, if you were doing things to make your life harder, if he wasn't paying support,
it wouldn't be happening.
Unkind to your daughter,
right?
You still would be absolutely justified in your feelings of trauma and
absolutely
not wanting to be around this person.
Right.
And that's the thing that makes me so angry about all those messages of, you know, friendly divorce, and there's all this these messages to shame people.
Right.
Like, why can't you get along with this person?
Right.
Why can't, you know, this aspirational divorce? So like we put it aside for the children.
Right.
You know, as if someone isn't doing the show up work.
Right.
You know, and it's that I don't know, that smug self-regard, that chastising people who are vulnerable, who are going through very difficult things as if they're not trying hard enough.
Right.
That makes me mad.
Agreed.
And it's you know, it's kind of like the forgiveness trolls, you know, like you have to forgive them, you have to forgive them. They never asked for your forgiveness, and it's a very personal thing. You know, there just seems to be a lot of we don't want to deal with the grief. We don't want to be real about what divorce looks like. We just want to see happy faces.
Right.
And I'm not saying you have to be, you know, Eeyore around your kids. I'm just saying be real. And it's okay to have boundaries around the person who hurt you. That's what I'm saying. Don't let them steal your joy. Have fun with your kids. Do your own traditions. Raise them with your values the way you want. There's lots of joy there. But it doesn't include a fuckwit. It doesn't have to include that other person who hurt you.
Yeah, for sure.
So if someone out there is dealing with an ex who is really, I don't know if you want to use the word disorder, challenging, high conflict, there are a number, I know like people like to throw the word narcissist around, though that is, that can be a thing.
Sure.
How would you, I mean, I know there's co-parenting together, there's parallel parenting. Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen as a helpful mechanism to kind of survive this next phase?
Yeah, if you're dealing with somebody who's like high conflict, you know, have a really good attorney, read everything you can on the internet. One good resource that I recommend to people is womenslaw.org. You should totally check them out. They have a legal helpline staffed by law students. They can,
I'll
for
put
any
that
domestic
link on
violence.
this
I'm sorry?
podcast. I'll put the link on our podcast.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah.
That'd be
I
great.
don't have
Thank
any
you.
affiliation with them. I
Yes.
interviewed them once when I worked at the DC bar. They're great. But they have all the divorce laws in all 50 states up on their website. They're a great resource. They're a great aggregate of where to find domestic violence help and child law, you know, just, so if you're dealing with a high conflict person, just be armed. Like, what are the laws in my state? What do, you know, how do I navigate myself? What do I do? But you just have to go in there armed as the sane parent, you know, and yeah. And know too, that it takes a lot to deny someone their parental rights, you know.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Losing your kid because, you know, I think we've talked to moms who, you know, oh my gosh, I forgot to pick up my kid from daycare one time. And is that gonna, I mean, no,
No,
but
it's not.
the fear is real.
The fear
is real.
Yeah.
And if you're dealing with a fuckwit, they're probably there going, I noticed that you forgot to pick Taylor up from daycare on time. And I am putting this in my notebook and this will go on your permanent record. And, you know, from the person who never picks their kid up or, you know, doesn't pay support or, I mean, whatever their litany of thing, they are watching you and they're saying, oh, you missed a spot.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've dealt with that. And like I say, you have to not let them trigger you. You have to be clear that you are the sane parent here.
Right.
You know, and let me go back to appreciation. Like anybody listening to this, you're doing this job, you're doing such important work. You are so strong. You are modeling great things to your kids. You are going to be on the other side of this. This person is not powerful. They're pathetic. And that's why they have to try so hard to get at you, because they're pathetic and they made terrible life choices. And you're doing the important work. And don't lose sight of it. Just don't.
And on the other side, it's amazing. Like, you'll find yourself through this shitstorm and you will be better off and your kids will be better off.
Your kids will be great. I mean, you're going to have so many wonderful memories and joyful memories. And the other thing I would tell anybody who's going through the single parent trenches is that you are an intact family. You are minus a fuckwit, but you are an intact family. You are enough. You are a family. Don't let anybody try to denigrate you, that you're less than. It's a whole cultural narrative we have to shift, but you are not less than if you are a single mother.
Well, and that's true for any type of, I mean, I say this to my daughter all the time because she's never experienced an intact family, right? She's never had that Hallmark family. In fact, like when she was like 3, she thought it was so weird that people were like still married to the other parent. She like thought that was, she'd never seen that before.
Right.
But we talk about it all the time, like people can have 2 dads or 2 moms, or their parents can be their grandparents, or, you know, there's just a million different kinds of families. And what matters is your bond with your kids. Like, that's what matters. So our last question, we're getting close to the end, which is usually our first question, but we just got talking too quickly, is do you drink coffee, and what kind of coffee do you drink?
Do I drink? Yes, I drink coffee. Okay. I love coffee.
Thank God.
What kind of coffee do I drink? I don't really get a choice of coffee in I do if I'm outside the house, but my husband is the coffee czar, and we have zones in our marriage, like who's in charge of what thing. And he's in charge of the coffee pot because he cares very much about the coffee.
Okay.
And it has to be Starbucks French roast.
Okay.
And it has to be really, really strong, like float a horseshoe in it, kind of.
Yep.
I like a good latte. I like a cappuccino. I like the fancy coffees, I admit. Yeah. But the basic.
Always hot?
Huh?
Do you drink iced coffee?
I like iced coffee. Yeah. Do you like iced coffee?
Finally, an iced coffee drinker.
Yeah.
I drink iced coffee all year round. I don't really even drink hot coffee.
Really?
And every other guest has like, no, hot coffee only.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm a very slow sipper of coffee. My coffee goes cold before I drink it. So I never finish a whole cup of coffee. So iced coffee makes a lot of sense because you can just kind of sip on it all day.
Yeah. Tracy, where can our listeners, we'll put it in the show notes, but where can our listeners find you?
Sure. I'm at chumplady.com. And I also have a podcast with another single mom. I'm not a single mom anymore, but my co-host Sarah Gorel is a single mom of 4 who's
that's no joke.
fuckwit walked out on her when she had 4 kids between the ages of 2 and 12. And we talk about co-parenting a lot. And our podcast is called Tell Me How You're Mighty. And the website is tellmehowyourmighty.com. So it's Chump Lady and Tell Me How You're Mighty is the podcast.
Yes, we love your podcast too.
Yeah. And you guys know the book. So
Yeah.
which you can find on the blog.
Yeah, we'll put
Thank
that
you
in the
guys so
notes
much
too.
for having me.
Thank you.
Oh my
It was
gosh, it's been
awesome.
a pleasure. Thank you.
So thank you for joining us for our coffee date for Grow Work this week. We decided to start thinking about New Year's resolutions. And I feel like there's like, do you think that some people love them and some people hate them? I don't know.
Oh yeah, because I hate the term New Year's resolution. Like I honestly, like I'm gonna sound like such a like grump, but I hate everything about New Year's. I hate.
I love New Year. I
Like,
don't love like staying up till midnight because I'm too
Yeah,
old.
I don't love staying up till midnight, like going to
Never really did that.
parties and paying like $9 million for some like bad event. What I do love about New Year's is all the year-end countdown stuff.
See,
So,
I
like,
like New Year's. I was saying the idea of a fresh start. Like I'm a weird person. I like Monday mornings, right? Because it's a fresh start.
I can get down with the fresh start idea. Like
Yeah.
like that for me is different than a New Year's resolution, because I feel like a New Year's resolution is like, I'm gonna lose weight. It feels so picking apart the parts of your life that you're not happy
Right.
about. But I do like a fresh start.
Let's, instead of calling it a New Year's resolution, let's say, what's your like fresh start thing? And whatever that is. And it can be positive stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
just, you can say goodbye to last year, wipe the slate clean.
I love looking at the future.
Mhm.
I love the possibility and the excitement about that. I don't think we talked about this before, but New Year's is like the biggest, like it's boom season for divorce lawyers.
Well, and I think a lot of people delay, like even if they have made the decision, like both of them, they wait till after the holidays to let the kids know and stuff.
Yep,
So
yep.
this is a big time and a hard time. Like I don't want to like pretend that like, oh, New Year's fresh start, so easy.
Yeah,
So
sometimes the fresh start means going through something really hard, but I think there's a lot of hope in that.
oh
And
my
so, with that in mind, talk a little bit about what we were cooking up for our good
Yeah,
work.
so we want you to share your New Year's resolutions with us. We have it on our Facebook page, and we have a bunch of resources that I'll also add on our Facebook page of how to make different goals and follow different things that will make you successful at them.
Mm.
We're hoping that, I know for me, I like to just take all that hope and that excitement of a new year and go from there.
This is exciting for me. I can't wait to see what people come up with and what they share.
Yeah.
I really, really do want to hear from people.
I want to encourage each other. That's
Yeah.
part of the thing I love so much about our community is that it's not just complaining about your ex. It's about encouraging everybody and empowering each other to make these changes or to, grow for yourself. And that's the best part. And that's 100% why I do this.
Talk a little bit about, because I do want to end on a hopeful note since I've been so grumpy. Talk a little bit about what you've witnessed over the last few years as leading a support group. And
well, I would say, I say this often to anybody asking about my support group, but when I first started the support group, when we were, in talks about it, I said, I do not want a group where we just go and complain. Like, it's just not something like there's nothing you're giving from it. You're not getting from it. Not that I mind venting or complaining. And I think that there's definitely time and place for that. But what I absolutely love happens to be a woman, because in my support group, it's women. When a woman comes in and I can feel her pain and I can see how tired she is and how terrified she is. And as I watch her come to the group over probably a year, sometimes longer, I can see her get herself again, find herself. And the spark back and the empowered person that she becomes. I mean, the thing that's so hard about divorce is it's such a humongous change for your family, but it's also such a huge opportunity. And that's something that you know, I've lost over 200 pounds since I got divorced. I have an MBA now. I would not have done that if I didn't get divorced. I own my own house. Would never have done that. None of these things. These are all bigger things. And then there's a million smaller things that I've worked so hard on. So I really hope that women can use their divorce as an opportunity to find themselves and to figure out what's important to them and to conquer it, to kick ass. And that's what my favorite part is. And that's why I'll run this support group forever, because as long as they'll have me, because it's so amazing to watch people overcome this.
I hope we can inspire people through this podcast to find their own way as well and share their journey with us. Share with us on our Facebook group. We're Co-Parenting and Coffee on Facebook as well. And we look forward to seeing what you come up with.
And we'll see you next year.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for Co-Parenting and Coffee. This podcast is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal advice on any subject matter. If you liked our podcast, feel free to drop us a review. We'd appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you next time for a cup of coffee and a chat with another expert on co-parenting.